Hello, welcome to the newest edition of the Vulcan Sportswire. As always, I'm Gary Smith, and I apologize for the stubble, but as me and Matt we're going to talk about in this show, it's been a busy couple days, so this is my end of the season stubble. And Matt, we're going to bring you in from your palatial offices high atop a secret location of California, and I can see you shaved today, so at least one of us looks presentable.
Well, it's one of those things. I try to look good for camera here because I never know when this is actually going to be, although I know making it look good at this point. So it's more or less just trying to do what you can. And whenever the little one sleeps, you try to take care of what you can when you can.
Well, the experiment's going to be if people watch us or if people listen to us on the podcast. We're going to start looking at those numbers. But enough of that nonsense. It's been a crazy couple days. It seems like we've been seeing each other at different ball fields for about 12 hours a day. And we're going to start, as we always do, with the first thing last week, and the first thing on the schedule was a baseball 4-game series, and it was a rough one for the Vulcans.
Yeah, this weekend was against the Golden Eagles of Clarion. Clarion came into the series, again, not in playoff contention. Again, they only had 4 wins coming into the series, and they ended up taking 3 or 4 from the Vulcans. But again, that's sort of how baseball is at any level, from high school up to the major leagues. Heck, the Pirates will win series from time to time, and everybody goes crazy and starts thinking they've turned the corner. And then you face the Dodgers or Padres, and you realize it's not really the case. So just a rough weekend for the Vulcans overall and on the baseball diamond. But Game 1 started. Nick Rigos throwing as usual. Has the Vulcans have them in the game, but they ended up losing 4-1 on Friday up at Memorial Stadium with the football stadium behind it, a place you and I both know well, but a place that the Golden Eagles have not been very often. They've been playing most of their games at Pullman Park over the last few years, but due to a variety of situations and circumstances, they're back on campus this year. But Game 2, Vulcans came back, jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first, and ended up taking a 6-3 victory in Game 2 of the series. So, again, you salvage the split on the road, which is always best, is always what you want to do at the minimum in the conference play. Split on the road, sweep at home is what I've always been saying. You'll be in perfect shape and you'll be in the playoffs sitting pretty. But coming home on Saturday was not much good news either for the Vulcans, dropping a pair of games to the Golden Eagles at Wild Things Park. Both pitchers' duels really, 3-1, 3-2, they were in each game. They're right there. Good pitching starts by Jackson Miller in Game 2 and a combination of guys in Game 1. But the Vulcans just couldn't push across enough runs to get some big innings together and try to take the lead on Saturday.
We're going to check out highlights from Saturday, and take note, Matt said it was a pitcher's duel, so you're going to see a lot of pitching strikeout highlights and a lot of good defense for both teams to keep the runs down. So here's the highlights from this past Saturday against Clarion at Wild Things Park.
Pitch. That one lined over in the left field. Oh, the diving catch, and that'll be out number 3. Haley's pitch. Swung and missed, strike 3, got him. Pitch. That one's popped up behind second base. That's going to get down. That's going to be the first base hit of the day for Cal U. Haley checks the runner and delivers. That one lined back up in the middle over the head of Mikowski. And in the center field. Run comes home. There's pitch swung on and chopped over the first. There's going to get there in time and for out number 3. As Conti hits that one hard down on the left field, could be trouble back to the wall and hammered down. The Vulcan is on the board. Their solo shot from Robin Conti is the 3rd homer of the year. 2-1 the score now. Layton sets and delivers. And that one's hitting the left center field way up there. Could be trouble. Oh, as a diving catch. And delivers. That one chopped way over the second baseman. He's to first. Pitch. That one hitting the center field. Oh, trouble, and that one's going to get down on the throw to the plate. It's going to be cut off by Rankin. 3-1 the score now. Rankin will slap that one down the left field line. Could be trouble. Oh, that's going to get down on and off the wall. And Rankin's going to be in there with a stand-up double.
Here's the pitch. And a strikeout for Jackson Miller. Swung on and lifted in the air. Going back in center field. That ball is going to be in, and that's going to be extra bases for Clarion. 1 run comes home. 2 runs come home. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit out to center field. Back to the wall, and it's going to be gone. Jacob McCaskey with a 2-run dinger to tie the game up. And that was a shot to dead center field. And just like that, the Vulcans have tied up the game. So Jacob McCaskey, first pitch swinging to dead center field, and we're tied at 2. Swung on, and it's going to be tapped out to first. It's going to be a slow roller. There's going to be play at first, and he's going to be safe. Patrick Brogan beating out a slow roller to first base. There's the pitch. Swung and a miss. Here's the pitch. Swung on. It's going to be hitting and taken by the second baseman and throw to first, and that ends the inning. Payoff pitch. Swung and hit in the air to right field. Coming on is Brogan. Brogan, will he have a play? Makes the catch. Here's the throw to the plate, and he is safe. Goes 0-2 pitch. Swung on, hit right at the shortstop. Steps on second, over to first, double play, and California gets out of the inning. So Anthony Venezia makes it a 6-3 putout. Slapped into left field, and Loudon Conti with a base hit. Cut off, and McCaskey's going to take the extra base at third, so aggressive base running. As Carter Chin hits one into right center field. Back to the wall, and it is a leaping catch, falling, pirouetting as Matt Prevett, not Max. And Matt, after the weekend 4-game series against Clarion, California is, as we said before in baseball, with you're playing 4 games, you can go up and down the standings very quickly. If you win 4, you can go up quickly. If you lose 4. But as we're going to take a look at the PSAC West standings, California now down in 4th. They're tied with Pitt Johnstown and about a half game behind Mercyhurst and about a full game behind Gannett. So very tight between 2 and 4. So not a lot of margin for any team really going into any weekend series.
Yeah, and for the Vulcans, it's closing out the season. I mean, they got the top 2 teams as of now, Seton Hill and Gannon, but also Slipper you got to be mindful of 7-7. They got some games that may make up as does Seton Hill. So just because what we do on a weekend, we necessarily see up in front of us, but Seton Hill's playing yesterday, they're playing today. A lot of games still being played just to try to make up everything lost between COVID situations and then, of course, good old Western Pennsylvania weather. Yeah,
it's the constant in the spring is last week when we were shooting the show, we had a giant jacket on whenever I came in because it was snowing, and yesterday for softball was 81 degrees, and that's a good segue is softball team back in action, and that's an understatement, back in action, as they are in the midst of a busy stretch, and it started this weekend when they got back to action on the lakefront at Mercyhurst.
Yeah, it's been nearly a month since they played. They split a doubleheader on Sunday, the first of 8 straight days of doubleheaders, so 16 games in 8 days, a very glorified spring break trip without the beach, without the sun, maybe a little bit of sun, Pennsylvania sun, not the Florida sun. But again, playing a lot of teams they're familiar with. Some they've seen already this year, just making up half a game, something like that. But everything else is a lot of Mercyhurst we've seen 4 times already, UPJ twice. Got UPJ wrapping around. We're playing Edinboro in an hour and a half, and we're playing tomorrow and Seton Hill on Friday, Saturday. So a lot of softball for the Vulcans here, basically playing half of their season in a single week span.
And it all started at Mercyhurst with that span, and they split at Mercyhurst, but in the second game it was just a gem of a pitching performance by Barron.
Yeah, Kelsey Barron, again, set a career high with 8 strikeouts in the contest. Got 1-0. Had, again, basers on base all day. Left 7 of them on, including 5 in scoring position. So the Lakers definitely had their chances on Sunday to take a sweep. May come back to hurt them in the playoff race. You never know because, again, it's so much left to be played. But nice to see the Vulcans, again, at least splitting on the road. When you haven't played in so long, you just don't know what's really going to happen. So nice to see them get that Game 2 victory to sort of propel them into Monday when they face UPJ here at Lilly Field.
And I tell you what, that Monday doubleheader at Lilly Field, beautiful afternoon for softball and just a beautiful afternoon for offense, especially in Game 2. But we'll talk a little bit about Game 1 first. But the Vulcans getting the job done at home, back at the friendly confines of Lilly Field.
Yeah, Lilly Field, the Vulcans took Game 1. Ellie Lobdell, sophomore, was running in the circle, pitched almost a complete game, went 6 1/3, only gave up 1 run, 5 hits, but the Vulcans got a nice W there. And the trio of freshmen just had a terrific day, and Charity Henderson, Shayna Postler, and Brittany Wilson combining for 13 hits and 8 RBI. So great when you have freshmen stepping up at this point in the season. Again, it's only played half the year, as I said earlier, but they're not really freshmen right now, even though they had a month off. They are basically full-fledged sophomores at this point.
In Game 2, they needed all that accrued experiences. They're no longer, as you said, no longer freshmen at this point of the season, going down 6 runs in the top of the first, but gutting out just an exciting Game 2 victory.
Yeah, I mean, Cal was down 6-0. They came back, tied it up in the third. Mountain Cats get 2 runs in the fourth. They're like, oh, gosh, all that work and got to chip away some more. No problem. They got 1 in the fifth and then 3 in the sixth. And from there, they were able to seal the deal and get the 10-8 victory.
And let's take a look at the highlights from Monday's doubleheader action against the Mountain Cats of UPJ.
She'll chop that one back to first off the glove of Lobdell. The first got her 1, 2, 3. Pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. First pitch, she'll line that one and pass short, and that'll be the first base hit of the afternoon. Sets and delivers. And Wilson sends that one for a ride into left field. Oh, they touch the ball, Brooke Wilson. And again, she's going to give Cal U a 2-0 lead. That one hit over the third, checks to run it, over back home, got her double play. Second pitch to Postler. And she's going to send that one to left field. And that's going to be the over the head of the left fielder. And she's going to be in there with a 2 RBI double. Lobdell's pitch as check swing. Hey, over to first. That'll be out number 3. Pitch as she gets the bunt down. Lobdell picks that one up over the first. Got her. Pitch, and that one hit up the middle over the short. The first got her. Sets and delivers, and Postler hits that one down on the left field line, and that's going to bring Henderson around second, and she will score.
And she hits one to center field, back to the wall, going back. That gets over the head, and that'll be extra bases for Charity Henderson. Here's the pitch, slapped into right field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Henderson rounding third. Here's the throw to the plate, the slide, and she is safe. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, it's going to be hit, little blooper into left center, and it's going to be off the shortstop's glove. To Brittany Wilson. Little shot. That's going to get down. That's going to be a play that is unable to be made. Throw to the plate. Not in time. Here's the 2-2 pitch now. Slap to first base. Throw to second, and they double her off. Great reaction there by the Vulcan first baseman, Paige Wilson. There's the 0 pitch. There's a shot right at the shortstop. Fielder is going to get right by her, and that's going to bring home the tying run for the Vulcans on a single. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Tap to third base. That's going to be a tough play. And The ball gets away, and there's going to be a rundown possibly here. And now it is a rundown. Throw to third. Throw to the plate. Slide, tag. Here's the first pitch. And that's going to be a bunt attempt. And a nice diving play. There's the pitch, slapped at the shortstop. It gets by her again. And so that's another run for the Vulcans. 1-2 count. Shot to right center field. Back goes Henderson, and she makes a catch. There's another journey as Henderson makes this ball go deep to left. It is gone. Charity Henderson with a solo shot ties it up. And talk about poetry. She saved a run for the Vulcans in the top of the sixth, and now she ties it up in the bottom of the sixth. And swings. There's a shot to center. It's a dying quail. It's going to get down. The center fielder could not see it in the sun, and that'll bring the go-ahead run for the Vulcans.
Typically, that's it because there's only 2 games on video. But no, Dikembe Mutombo would say, we were back in action on Tuesday against the Mercyhurst Lakers. Matt, beautiful afternoon, a little windy, but just a beautiful spring day at Lilly Field.
Yeah, one of those days you couldn't dream up a better picture for college softball. Maybe high school gets to play in 80-degree weather because they're playing later in the season, but 80 degrees at Lilly Field. Vulcans had a tough one there in Game 1. They lost 6-0, only had 3 hits, really couldn't get much going offensively. In Game 2, they had a little bit of a difference there. They had 2 runs in the bottom of the first, like, okay, getting some momentum going. But then Mercyhurst gets 6 runs in the 5th inning. Sort of like, again, on Monday with UPJ, a deficit there, having to work your way back. Got 2 in the 5th, and then found a way again in the 6th, getting 3 runs to get an 8-7 victory. So finding a little bit of the harder ways to get some of these W's. I'm sure coaches Bertnoli and Natalia would love to get some games that be a run rule, tossing some bench players. But at this point in the season, you are just going with whatever you can, trying to find ways to get these wins to get into the PSAC tournament.
And I tell you what, that second game yesterday against Mercyhurst was one of those games that, a lot of times sportscasters or sports announcers use the phrase game of human chess, but it really was because I think we saw more coaches' conferences on the field for strategy between both teams than we might have seen combined the entirety of the season up to that point. So there was a lot of moving parts in that game, especially on the mound for the Vulcans.
Yeah, and again, with 8 straight doubleheaders, you're going to have to start seeing that a lot, trying to figure out again, it's a different delivery than baseball, but still you can't really throw in 8 straight days. So they're going to have to figure out different ways of combinations. Some days somebody might just not be feeling well, but you're going to have to not hitting their spots or having bad at-bats and making right substitutions, either switching positions, coming up for a pinch runner, pinch hitter. And every sort of move seemingly worked late in the game. And some defensive changes, and sure enough, there's always a magnet once you make a defensive change. The ball finds you. Every one of those moves seemed to work out after they make the changes.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from the doubleheader at home against Mercyhurst. There's the pitch. Chopped right to the pitcher. Lobdell has a trouble with it, and that's going to bring home a run. Here's the first pitch to her. Swung on a slap to second base. Jaquay fields it, knocks it down, and has enough wherewithal to calmly throw it over to first base for the third out. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, check, swing, and she's out. Here, so there's a pitch, swung on, grounded to third. Great play, picked and thrown over, and put a star next to that one. Swung on, slap towards shirt over the head, and that's going to get to the wall, and that's going to be trouble. That's going to bring home 1 run for the Lakers. They're going to wave home a second run, throw to the plate, not in time, and that'll be a 2-run double for Mercyhurst. Here's the 2-1 pitch now. Hyman swings, drives one into left center. That ball's in the gap. That's going to get down. That's going to be a run for the Lakers and an extra base attempt, and it will be a double for Mercyhurst. There's a pitch swung on, connected, center field back to the wall, and it's going to get down. That's going to be extra paces now for the Vulcans, and just like that, Brittany Wilson. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on, slap right back to the pitcher. Turns, throw to second, throw to first. Not in time, but that is a great play there. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, tap to the first baseman. Fielded, throw to first. Jaquay gets the out. Jaquay digs in. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, slap down the left field line. And that'll drop for a base hit. So Jaquay, with her speed, will try and get to second base, and she does. So a leadoff double for Shalina Jaquay.
Pitch. And Jaquay hits that one in the left center field. Oh, the wind's going to carry that one, and it's going to go to the wall. Oh, runners are around on second. And Jaquay is in there with an RBI. Triple. Wilson chops that one over to short, checks the runner. Jaquay comes home, play at the plate. They're going to call her safe. Pitch. And she hits that one in the right center field. Could be trouble. Old Charity Henderson will make the catch. Runner tags. And they're going to say, hey, she's safe. Please pitch. Chop back up the middle. Oh, and into left field. Old Tripp's coming around third. Play at the... She dives in and she's safe. Pitch looking for the bunt. And dive attempt by Brittany Wilson. Not in time. They're going to tag the runner. They're going to get her at second. Aaron's pitch. That one chopped over to second. Diving play by McQuay. Over to second. He got her. What a diving play by Selena Jaquay. Pitch. Henderson hits that one over the short. And that's going to eat her up. That's going to bring Jaquay home. Wilson chops that one into right field, and that's going to get down, and that's going to bring a run home. The throw to the plate. Hey, not in time. Pitch. She hits that one hard in the right center field. Going back to the wall. That's going to get down. That could be extra bases. That's going to eat up the right fielder. Wilson going to be in at second. And Henderson hits that one out in the right center field. Oh, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Henderson around on first, heading for second. And she'll be in there with a RBI double. First. Wilson chops that one over the short. And that's going to go into left field. Henderson around on third, heading for home. The play at the plate, cut off. And Cal U is retaking the lead, 8-7.
And Matt, as we shoot this show on Wednesday afternoon at 1:14, softball team is not done yet. They have a few more games, but let's just talk about just touch upon the schedule day, and then we're going to take a look at the standings. But no rest for the weary.
Yeah, I mean, it is. They are probably on the field right now in their pregame warmups. They are playing in less than just over 60 minutes, 2:30 start at Edinburgh. This is a series that's supposed to be on an Easter weekend. The whole series got shifted around, and then they're starting today with the Fighting Scots. And then, weather permitting, always we have to say that, put that stipulation in there. Fighting Scots are coming down here to Lilyfield tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
And we're going to have the entirety of the schedule as it is on the paper right now later in the show. But, Matt, after the bunch of games the Vulcans have played, PSAC standings are starting to come into a little bit more focus. Seton Hill still in first place, they have been all year. Then you see Cal U, Gannon, IEP, and Mercyhurst. Then Edinburgh all kind of, Gannon, IEP, Mercyhurst, and Edinburgh kind of fighting. California has a little bit of separation, has a chance to add to that separation with some games. But, again, this time of year, every game is important as, this is the last week of the regular season. Playoffs start next week.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it very intriguing when I'm writing these recaps each night here, trying to figure out how standings work with games back and things like that, because nobody's playing the same amount of games except Gannon, IEP, and Mercier. So you got to look at win percentage and then the total number of wins in conference play. Those are the two big stats to look for, because if you can't get all the games in, those might be the tiebreakers you're going to have to be looking at. So it's one of those things. Seton Hill still got that nice lead at the top, but again, they're coming to the Vulcans here this weekend. So it's like how baseball, you control your destiny by playing a team ahead of you. They have that this weekend, closing out the regular season.
We'll have the schedule for the rest of the season later in the show. But, Matt, we're going to put a bow on softball for the moment. We're going to skip ahead to the track and field team in action this weekend, once again getting on the road and getting on the track.
Yeah, they went over to the Paul Kaiser Classic. This typically is like the same weekend. The Penn Relays are always held, and you'll see some of the topper echelon athletes from the PSAC, Cal U, Shippensburg, Slippery Rock, they'll go to Penn Relays. But I think most everybody, since COVID's happening and going on, everybody sort of did their own kind of thing. But again, Cal went to Shippensburg, and Vaughn Franklin had a record-setting day for the Vulcans there, breaking the 100-meter school record, reaching the NCAA mark in the event. The school record has been standing since 2012, and she absolutely flew on the track at 11.65 seconds, which is actually 8th best in the country right now. So basically probably punching her tickets to nationals. We still got a couple of weeks to go before those announcements are made, but when you're sitting in the top 10 on the performance list in the country, you have a really good chance, especially with PSAC still coming up. That's always when everybody sort of peaks their performances right there for that one. But again, she wasn't the only one putting up a huge performance over the weekend. Sophomore Beyonce Kelly reached the NCAA mark in the high jump, actually clearing 1.70 meters. For the other ones who don't know meters, that is 5.5 feet 7 inches there on her first attempt. So, and she actually is the top 15 in the country. So she has some work to do if she wants to necessarily go to nationals. Not guaranteed at that point, but again, as I said, in talking to the coach report, they have some things in the mind of what they're going to be looking for the next couple of weeks to see if they can help her out to reach that mark. And Jalissa Mackey in the 100-meter hurdles actually improved her fastest time in that event at 14.56. So. Great job by her. And also the 4x4 relay, which Mackey and Franklin Ron actually also won the event. So a great job there for the women's team over in Shippensburg this past weekend.
And congratulations to those athletes with a wonderful, wonderful performance this weekend over at Shippensburg. It's always a little bit of a longer trip to Shippensburg, but on the other end of those tunnels, it's just an absolutely great facility and always a well-run event at Shippensburg. And Matt, that puts a bow on pretty much everything except we had some conference championships happening this weekend. Swimming had their PSAC championships at the end of last week, which is why when we were talking about it, I forgot about it on my rundown because we have had a lot of stuff going in, and at the end of last week kind of got under my radar. But it's tough you can't ignore a conference championship, even though it's a little later in the year than swimming's used to. But it's just great that they are able to get this event in, and the Vulcans getting a chance to compete for conference championships.
Yeah, definitely different timing than usual. Same facility, a little bit different feel. Normally it's a 4-day event, men's and women's both going all out, and it's a bunch of people. It's probably the biggest attended event between fans, family, athletes in the PSAC, believe it or not. But again, new rules this year. Men went on Wednesday, Thursday. Women went Friday, Saturday. No fans in attendance. And also notable was Westchester, which had won 14 consecutive PSAC championships, has been owning the conference. They opted out of swimming. So no matter what was going to happen this past weekend, there was going to be a new champion in swimming, and that was IUP. But CAU finished 7th at the event. Overall in the team standings, their highest finish since 2014. Also maybe aided a little fact that the Westchester wasn't there, so you're assuming it's at least one spot up you're going. But again, you'll take it, and you're finishing 7th. And freshman Gabby Miller had a nice day on Saturday. She actually accounted for over 30 points in the team standings. She finished the top 10 in the 100 freestyle, and she also finished 13th in the 100 back. So great job by her. But also on Friday, she really highlighted the performances as well. She finished 7th in the 50 free, touching the wall in 24.67 seconds, and posted the team's highest finish at the PSAC Championships in that event to 50 free since 2017. So some nice building blocks there for Gabby Miller. And talking to Coach Gitson here before we came on, a lot of other swimmers also recorded personal best, season best times this year. Very unusual season for them, but at the end of the day, they had some semblance of a season, which given how last spring was, where we were this time in 2020, nobody knew how that would ever shape out, and I'm guaranteeing that the women were glad to have the opportunity to at least compete one more time and be recognized and have that kind of event and compete in that.
Absolutely. Like you just took the words out of my mouth. The fact that a season happened and they got to the conference championships, we said a little bit last week with last couple of weeks with tennis and golf kind of getting towards the end of their seasons and everything like that. Just the fact that getting seasons in and competing is a little bit of normalcy in this crazy world. Hopefully the swimming team can use these good results and build going into next year. Is that winter season is going to be here sooner than later. But Matt, that puts a bow. I don't even know if that's a bow. That might put a lockdown on a busy weekend of Vulcan Athletics. But now's the time we can kind of look back a little bit. And there were some players that had outstanding accolades that have been recognized by the conference and your office. So if you'd like to take it away for any PSAC players of the week and then the Vulcans of the week.
Yeah, in the PSAC, given how I referenced track and field, Devon Franklin had an outstanding performance at Shippensburg. She was undoubtedly going to be named the PSAC Track Athlete of the Week and also the Vulcan of the Week for the office for the women's sports. Again, breaking the school record in the 100-meter dash. She won it with 11.65 seconds, which is actually the fastest time in the PSAC this year by over 0.3 of a second. And given that short of a distance, 0.3 is a really big margin. And it'd be exciting to see what she can do these next couple of weeks as she gears up for the conference championships and also the NCAA championship. She's number 2 also in the 200-meter dash in the conference, so behind the standout from Shippensburg. The two of them will be jockeying, I think, come a couple weeks to the league championships and also possibly at nationals, going back and forth. And she's only a freshman, so Franklin and the newcomer from Shippensburg, they're going to have some good battles not only now but in the future, next couple of years. But again, Devon had a great week. Was glad to see she got the PSAC Athlete of the Week and also the Vulcan of the Week on the women's side. And for the men's team, again, this seems so long ago. I had to really look at the calendar to figure out when things fell. But I went with Tyler Kipp from the men's golf team. We talked about him quite a bit on last week's show because how the calendars kind of overlap when awards come out when we do the show. He wasn't eligible up yet for the Vulcan of the Week because his crowning performance last week was shooting a 269 at the Cecil Spatafore Invitational, which has been going on for 57 years. So it's a major pristine event in the Western Pennsylvania for D2 colleges. It's hosted every year by AP. He shot a 69, as I said, in the second round, moved up over 15 places on the leaderboard, tied for 3rd overall. 69 was the best score of anybody in the field on Tuesday. He actually tied the overall leader with that, but it also is the best score by any Cal U golfer this season. So you and I both know if you're shooting under par, you're having a heck of a day. And if you're shooting a 69, you are having a heck of an achievement. And Tyler also, not only did he get this small achievement from us, bigger for him and bigger for the program, he was selected by the NCAA committee to compete at the NCAA Link Regional Championships coming up in the first week of May, hosted by Mercier. So the course he played earlier this year. So it'll be good for him to having that experience being on that course, have a practice round on it, and see how he does competing against some of the best talent, not only in the Atlantic region, but also the Northeast region, which is the Southern New Hampshires and all the St. Thomas Aquinas, those types of schools.
But Matt, now we can kind of take a deep breath, and we get to play prognosticator because this is the time of the show that we are going to talk about the upcoming schedules. And as always with spring sports, we also have to keep one eye on a calendar and the other eye on the weather. But again, as we shoot this show Wednesday afternoon about 1:24, this is what we have. So we mentioned softball playing as we're shooting this today at Edinboro, but softball in action for the next couple days and baseball having a key 4-game series as well with the Griffins of Seton Hill.
Yeah, again, softball today with Edinboro. Softball supposed to be home tomorrow with Edinboro. So on Friday, the baseball and softball teams will be facing Seton Hill. The baseball team will be hosting the Griffins over in Washington, where softball will be making that short trip over to Greensburg and facing the Griffins there. Then on Saturday, the two teams flip, and baseball will be over in Seton Hill facing the Griffins, who are top 10 in the country. And softball will be hosting Seton Hill on Senior Day at Lilly Field. It's been quite a while since the Vulcans have been able to recognize their seniors at Lilly Field, and I know it'll be a great for Coach Bertinoli being able to have those seniors be able to be recognized on their home field once again. And also track and field will be competing at Pitt Johnstown Invitational, which will be actually hosted at a high school in a nearby town in Windber, Pennsylvania. So they'll be competing one more time before the conference championships this weekend. And then finally, softball will be playing at Pitt Johnstown. So a lot of the same teams, a lot of same locations for the Vulcans these next couple of days. But Sunday is supposed to be the last day of competition for the PSAC in softball. So everything has to be sealed, locked up, everything. No more games after Sunday because at that Monday, that means postseason. So everybody's got to get their games in best they can, and it's up for the conference office to figure out the tiebreakers, seedings, and the pairings. It's going to be very unique this year. Typically, they've been playing in one location, both baseball and softball. They're going to do a little bit more campus sites this year just to try to limit travel, limit crowd sizes, those types of things. So home field is a possibility in softball for sure for the Vulcans. So they have a very important couple of days here to see if they can possibly get one of those. And then see how they can match up with a seed with whoever comes into the PSAC tournament.
So once again, that's a lot to take in. For the most up-to-date information, make sure to check out calvulcans.com online for the schedule. Matt will update that as soon as any changes would to be made to the schedule, and also follow Cal Vulcans on Twitter, because that is where the information will also be. So, Matt, that's the end of a busy 7 or 8 days we've had here, and it's not going to get any less crazy, but we can at least put an end to this show. And as always, at the end of the show, I like to ask you a little bit of an off-the-wall question. And, this past week on campus, there have been a variety of food trucks on campus. I know you've had the opportunity to partake in some of the delicacies. But my question to you, if you, Matt Kiefer, could start a food truck, what food would you serve?
I have no idea. I like too many different things. I don't think I could do a food truck. I'd have to do a restaurant, because at least that way I can have a bigger kitchen.
No. The question,
I want to.
You get one food truck, and it's one food item that you specialize in.
I'd probably have to go with a burger, just because you can do more things too. You can put different toppings in it. You can stuff it, you can smash it, whatever else. And then also you could do a variety of fries. So I guess that'd be it, but it's a hard pick.
Hey, I'm okay with that. More burger food trucks are better. I would go off the wall from a business sense. Not that I'm a huge fan of the food. I'll eat it. But I think there's a market for this, a popcorn food truck. Just driving around, have like a movie flavor popcorn getting out there.
Well, you might as well do it, because who knows when movie theaters be opening, how many people will go there. So I think it could actually work.
You know what? We can go to business. We can have one side of the food truck, and the other side will have a giant big screen, and we'll show us the newest movies. We'll make $1 billion. So, but with that ends the show. Again, check out calvulcans.com for most up-to-date stories and schedules and standings and everything like that to keep track of Vulcan Athletics. And we'll see you next time on the Vulcan Sportswire. Go Vulcans!